the smallest group we've had in a long time. We do have a guest speaker tonight, so we're going to go ahead and get started. My name is Linda Locke. Welcome to the Berryessa Citizens Advisory Council. This is our last meeting before summer break, so we won't be meeting in July and August. Okay, and so I don't know, did the minutes go out? Does anybody know? I can't remember. And Treasurer's report? Oh, okay, sorry. Susan, do you want to give a report? Oopsie.
Good evening, everyone. So I have the Treasurer's report for May 2024. So on May 1st, we had a balance of $1,804.72. We received $40 in membership dues. We had expenses, one of them was for Zoom, website, and microphones, $831.45. The Berryessa Art Festival 2024 donation of $50, and then printing of brochures was $76.56. So that leaves a balance of $886.71 in our budget. Then the City of San Jose District 4 grant. On May 1st, we had $10,000, and then we had expenses of $1,380 and $450, which were temporary loans to the Berryessa Art Festival. Those funds have come in to replenish it, but it'll show up in this month. So that left a balance in the District 4 grant of $8,170. The Beautify San Jose's grant cycle 5, we have a balance of $2,038. In the Not a Noble charter, we have a balance of $7,456.96. And this is our last meeting before the summer break. I am still accepting membership dues for those who would like to donate $10 for the remaining of the year. And for those that have paid, thank you very much.
I don't see any law enforcement here tonight, so I hope that's not a bad omen. I think they maybe just forgot about us. I'm hoping that's the case. But we do have, let me do this. We do have Assemblyman Alex Lee's office is represented by Tim Orozco, so he'll give us a short report. Is Tim ever short with his reports? No, but
But we don't meet in July, or?
That's correct.
Okay, and then we have a party in August, right, here? Correct. Okay, our summer party. Well, let me just mention a few things then. The legislature has to pass a balanced budget by Saturday, the 15th, and that's determined by the Constitution. So by midnight, they have to have a budget, or else they forego their paychecks. Remember, we all voted a long time ago. Many of us who were around voted for that proposition. So, and I'll just say this briefly, that the Governor Newsom's revised 2024-25 state budget, it's a balanced budget that cuts spending. I wish Ty were here. Makes government leaner. I'm talking to Ty. Makes government leaner. Really, there's like 10,000 employees that they're not going to fill and that they're going to cut. So it is making government leaner, and preserves core services without proposing new taxes for Californians. So, you know, it's going to be a $288 billion budget. This current budget is $308 billion. So, you know, we had our surplus years, and then the economy tanked in 2022. And so, and a lot of the taxes that come into the state are from wealthy Californians, and so no capital gains, you know, and all that. So, and then because of the storms and all that, so less money coming into the coffers. So, $288 billion budget for 24-25, and but that means we're trying to we're $75 billion in debt. So this year and the next two fiscal cycles are going to be like $28 billion deficits that we have to work out. So it's like a $75 billion deficit. Yeah. So I mentioned that. Happy Pride, everybody. Assemblymember Lee had his Pride celebration at Sofa Market downtown. It was really fun. I don't know if you know the Bill Wilson Center. It's been around since 1973. And so Josh Sello, the new CEO, was recognized at the Pride. And I also want to mention Sarah Fernando, who some of you know, because Sarah runs, you may not know this, we have, because of Ken Yeager and other supervisors like 5 years back, we have a Office of LGBTQ Affairs, the Santa Clara County does, one of the first of its kind. So Sarah Fernando runs the office. She's the manager. So it was a good event. Do you want to hear a couple of bills, or should I wait for next time? All right. So so just to give you a sense of the variety of type of bills, there's 2 bills that did not pass. Let me tell you that. There's an anti-aging skincare product bill that the assembly member wanted to ban tweens. You know what a tween is? Have you heard of Sephora kids? Well, these 8 to 12-year-olds are going to Sephora and Ulta and buying skincare products. And how do they know? TikTok, right? They're from social media. So there is something called Sephora kids. But business scrapped it and said, nope, sorry, maybe next year, because how can you enforce I shouldn't say little kids, but these tweens don't have IDs, right? They don't have a driver's license. How are you going to check, right? Oh, you're under 13. You can't buy this product. Well, so there was an enforcement issue. But that didn't pass. But there is a bill to consolidate, to make BART more efficient up at the upper echelons. And so it will create a chief financial officer, which will make BART more accountable. And so it's going to consolidate the general manager's financial duties with the controller treasurer's financial duties into the CFO. And hopefully that will be better for BART. We know. And then this one is big. I think you guys will like this one. AB 2584, corporate-owned single-family homes. So the bill is to ban institutional investors, corporations, from buying more than 1,000 homes in the state. So we have these big companies from Texas or wherever, and they have 10,000 homes in the state. They're eating up our supply. We need the supply for young families like Eric to buy a home. And so, so that's important, right? So it'll help with the supply. So it'll prohibit these big companies from buying more than 1,000 homes. And you see this throughout the country. And then one last one, because it's Pride Month, the assembly member has a bill that would create a LGBTQ plus commission that would advise the governor on those policy matters that affect the community, the LGBTQ community. So I'll just leave you with that. And I think that's it. Oh, one last one that failed. Do you know what third-hand smoke is? I never knew, really. We know firsthand. We know secondhand. You're breathing it in. Third hand is the residue in the car, right, that you don't know about. So the assembly member wanted used car dealers to, notify the consumer, the customer, that there is proof, because, this would have been done early on, of third-hand smoke, residue on the seats, residue on the the dashboard and all that. So at least you're aware, but again, the industry, the businesses come and they knock some of these too much regulation. So, all right, I'll leave you with that. We're busy these days. They go on July recess, on their summer recess in July. So they're off for 30 days. They're not off. They're back in the district working. All right, have a good one. Thanks.
Okay. All right. Representing Councilman David Cohen is Eric Osborne.
Thanks for having me. City Council's holding their final budget study session tonight, so David was not able to be here. So he sent me with his own remarks. The good news in the budget is that the city revenue is trending higher than it was originally projected to, so there's an extra $12 million to fund affordable housing and some other priorities. Most importantly, we have been able to restore Viva Parks and Viva Calle to last year's level, and we'll be able to keep the fitness centers at 6 community centers open. While funding for district priorities citywide was reduced from $3 million to $2 million this year, we've been able to secure funding for several District 4 priorities, including $75,000 for the Elevate Math Summer Program in Berryessa schools, $63,000 to allow more children to visit the Youth Science Institute in Alum Rock Park, and $100,000 to prevent sideshows at 3 locations in Berryessa, Suncrest and Burgundy, Croppley and Piedmont, and at Sierra east of Flickinger. Speaking of Alum Rock Park, please join us this Friday as we celebrate the reopening of Penitentia Creek Road leading into Alum Rock Park, which happened a couple months ago, but we haven't been able to arrange a celebration until now. We're calling it Alum Rockin' Road. We're going to have ice cream and games for the kids that the PRNS people will provide, and that will be from 5 to 7 p.m. On Saturday morning, we'll be hosting an annual District 4 Leadership Forum at the Berryessa Library. All community leaders are welcome to attend. I don't have a flyer for it, but I do have business cards. If you need information, you can contact me. Our special guest will be Assistant City Manager Kip Hartness, who will lead a discussion about the city's role in the community and how community leaders can best interact with the city. And finally, we're excited that our first District 4's very first dog park will finally be opening this month. So I have flyers for that. You can pass them out. I also put some on the table outside. Join us and bring your dogs to our ribbon cutting Saturday, June 29th at 10 a.m. That's all I have. Linda? Okay, so I don't know if you saw on social media anything about what happened in San Francisco last night or the night before. It was total Mad Max mayhem out there. The reason that they do that in San Francisco is because the networks that promote these events, because you wouldn't think it, but it's almost like an organized sport. They book it, they get people from all over the place. It's got a start time and rules. They know not to do that in San Jose anymore, and that's due to the helicopter that we're hearing buzzing us all the time. A technique was developed by the Air 3 crew, and they call it kind of like a kettle gauntlet style, where they have hundreds of police officers in cars on each side of the incoming intersection, and they are able to basically catch everyone there and find the people who are watching, find the people who are promoting, find the people who are participating. And last time they seized like 5 guns and gave out 700 citations. So on the social media, that hashtag, if you follow that topic, they say don't do it in San Jose. That's not specifically answering your question. What your question was more about was the infrastructure stuff, like the bollards being set up to give them less space to do what they're doing. Right. It still happens, but not to the large scale that we used to see. There was kind of a rash of it a couple years ago where it was just massive events, and so they're not doing those anymore. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I mean. They make it an event. And unfortunately, if you have 100 people all committing crimes at the same time and you only have 12 police officers available, the response is you're going to take resources from the rest of the city. So that we're still trying to figure out how to address this properly. But the infrastructure improvements that they can make on the roads, those little, I forget what they call them, but they're a little bit bigger than the normal little reflectors. And if they put those all over the intersection, it makes it a lot less appealing to do donuts in there. And so they're still testing a lot of different techniques, but at least securing the funds to study this and to implement some of those techniques is what we're hoping. It's such a long process to go through DOT and not only get it studied, then get it funded. I mean, if anyone's ever gotten a speed bump put in their street, they know how hard that is, or a stop sign. So. Yeah. That's why they try to use these other objects in the road that might not completely stop the behavior, but at least deter them to go to a different intersection. And that's kind of the best we can do sometimes. Yeah, I'm happy that we got a lot of aside from homelessness being a huge problem, the sideshows are also a concern for the community. So David's been adamant about doing something in our larger streets. Yeah. I know this is not what anyone wants to hear, but it's such a complicated problem. One thing you can do is report every day, just report something to 311. If you don't have an account, make an account on there. You can take a photo of the blight. The geolocation will be in there in the app. And I've done it in my neighborhood. I actually live in District 7, so I see my share of that. And those teams come out really quickly, and they usually do fix problems. So that's one thing we can do. I personally believe, and what David also believes, is to provide safe parking for these RVs. When we do that, we're able to say, there's a safe parking location right here. You can't park over here. You have to either go to that location or stay out of this zone. So as much as people hear, oh, we're going to condense them all in a neighborhood, that's kind of the best we can do instead of letting them spread out sometimes. So until we find a solution long-term for those people, then we can at least put them in a manageable location where they have some services and they're out of the way of schools and businesses. I do not know. I'm not even sure which lot is going to be. There's going to be some signage directing people, but I can get back to you on that. I'm not sure. No more questions? Okay.
This is what the flyer looks like for the dog park, so it's out on the table outside. So grab one, let your neighbors know. All right. The Santa Clara Valley Water District, Richard Santos is here.
Well, good evening, everybody. I'm Richard Santos, your director of Santa Clara Valley Water District, and we all got challenges and budgets and you name it. 1 minute, we got a surplus in the state of California. Next thing I know, we're in a deficit. So it's hard to keep up, but there's not enough money for recycling water and all the stuff we need, and we're all going through this. And of course, Alex Lee has been the lead on that. And then, of course, he has more recognition parties than anybody I know, which is really good because the community is always involved. I think I've been to 3 of them this year. They're all good. We all got all kinds of challenges, but the biggest issue right now is we call in-house, trying to be sensitive. It's the homeless in the creeks and so on. The city of San Jose is not by themselves. It affects all 15 cities. And we need to all be better partners and all work together. So that's why I'm proposing, and we're working on it. As of right now, it'll be October 11th. We need Assemblymember Lee there. October 11th, location to be given later. It's going to be called an House Summit. because we gotta quit pointing fingers, quit making up all kinds of stuff, and do action steps. That's what the public wants. That's the highest, number one in Santa Clara County, phone calls that I get. The biggest issue is everybody blames the water district, and 99.9, it's not ours. It's either the city of San Jose, Eastside School District, Santa Clara County, and individual residents who own the waterways. We only own 1/3 with your money. So, but I've always said this, we're here to help together. We're not passing the buck, but they have to take care of their obligations, and they don't do enough. So that's why we're having this summit, so we could sit down, get the district attorney, get assembly members, senators, federal, and so on. Housing is a huge issue, but we're not a social office. We got to clean the creeks and keep it going, and you're going to get fined. There's all kinds of issues. But just about I don't know, about 2-3 weeks ago, I'm the chair of the environmental creek cleanup, which is called the Unhoused. And Sharon was there, penitentiary neighborhood groups there, and everybody. And they all called in. And that meeting was about 3 hours long, but 2.5 hours of testimony. And so I listened and I listened. And we're proposing an ordinance so we can enforce it and take care of all our easements and responsibilities and remove trash, garbage, and people out of our creeks, which is your creeks, so people can go back and have recreation and whatever have you. Is it going to be easy? No. But with an ordinance, you have law. Now, do we want to criminalize the unhoused? Absolutely not. But we got to do something. That's what the people want. Because I get phone calls because I'm active from everybody else's district. Can't do it. So with this ordinance, and after all the testimony, they were talking for hours, and I finally said, hey, I've had enough. Call for the question. Let's give it to the full board, either enforce it or we're not. So that'll be July 8th. You can call in then or whatever have you. The full board will make a decision how far we're going to go with this ordinance. But it is, and here's what it's all about. We can't wait any longer to address the environmental and public safety crisis in our creeks. Valley Water is asking our city and county partners with law enforcement powers to enforce this ordinance to help protect our workers, our environment, and our neighborhoods. Valley Water has already offered up property to take care of the homeless. That's your tax money all being used. So I can go on for the next hour, July 8th. And again, we're trying to do the best we can to remove people, veterans. I'm a veteran. I don't like it. I don't want to see women and kids in there either. But the sheltering, and again, it goes back to this governor's budget. I hope everybody has a say, you know. And the way I understand it, if he takes the education money from Santa Clara County, we're going to be even worse than ever. Got to keep the education going. And there's a deal about now they want to give the money to their charter schools. So that's a big issue. We all got to pay attention, get our people elected. So again, one more time, October 11th, you'll all be invited. We're trying to make it like a Santa Clara Convention Center somewhere we can go in easy, have free parking, and have it something like 9 to 1 o'clock. People can leave. It's a Friday. But again, we have to get the elected to quit pointing fingers and sit down and have agreements. Why can't our CEO call up the city manager and say, hey, our crews are coming in next week? Have the police there to protect them and remove all the garbage and so on. Get the county there, say, you got to take care of this sheltering, whatever have you, and get it done and get them off. That's the highest rating we got right now from all the public, probably something like a polling of 85% of people said we've had enough. It's the assaults, the needles, dog bites, gunshots, robberies. And then they got, what most of you don't know because you're too young, when Governor then Reagan closed those hospitals down, we have paid the price. And nobody said a word back in those days. I was the fire captain over here. We had 150 calls a month. The following month, it was 300 calls a month. It has never stopped. And that was something like 40 years ago. So one person can make a decision that costs you for the rest of your life. Because the unhoused is going to be the rest of our lives. How we can't stop it, but we can do a better job of reducing it and make people a lot safer and so on. So I won't take questions. You can ask me over here. I'll be glad to stay. It's a serious issue, and people don't want no more, and neither do we. Because Once those rivers and creeks are contaminated, we all lose at the same time, destroying everything. And so, and we got to be sensitive to people, what the needs. The biggest problem is too, when you do have housing, we have a group that says we don't want it. So how do you enforce it? We're not law enforcement. But with this ordinance, give the police officers something to do, because once they go there, they don't do anything. And that's a real problem. Anyway, I'll be here for quick. By the way, there's 2 people I just met. They're brand new members, so welcome.
And the Berryessa Union School District Superintendent, Dr. Roxanne Fuentes, is here tonight. School's out, school's out.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to be with you this evening. As Linda shared, we had our last day of school on Friday, so summer period has commenced, but not for all students. So this Thursday, summer school begins. So they just get a little bit of a reprieve. So just in terms of your neighborhoods, to be aware that this year summer school is being hosted at Laneview Elementary, Northwood Elementary, and I believe Sierramont Middle. So we usually concentrate our programs at a few sites. We're offering summer school programming for our special education students, for our English learners, as well as offering support to all students in the area of mathematics. And we're also providing some opportunity for our middle school students to engage in computer science through our partnership with the Silicon Valley Ed Foundation. In addition to that, we also are offering summer camps. So we have summer camps happening across our school sites to try to provide full day supervision opportunity for the children who are in summer school in the morning and then being able to go into a camp for the afternoon. And we have a new partner. Many of you know Raft, are familiar with Raft. So we're partnering with them this summer to offer a more interactive and engaging STEAM academy for our students. So we think they'll have a lot of fun in that. As we got towards the end of the school year, I do want to share, because I don't believe I've had the opportunity to share, we had a great award recognition for our students and staff and the whole community over at Morrill Middle School. They were once again recognized as a California Distinguished School. So really proud of them because they achieved that recognition 2 years ago. So the California Department of Education, they rotate their school review. So 1 year it'll be secondary sites, the following year it'll be elementary, and then they keep that cycle. So our students and staff there have worked really hard to be able to get that recognition 2 cycles back to back. So really excited for them. We were able to travel down in May to Anaheim over at the Disneyland Hotel, where the state superintendent and Mickey Mouse awarded them with their award, and they got a nice flag that they can hang in their school and just really celebrate the hard work. If you're not familiar with the California Distinguished School process, I really like to share with people how schools earn that, because it's not just about academics. That's one component. So the state looks at every school and evaluates their statewide student assessments in mathematics, language arts, and science. That's one avenue. But then they also look at the other side of the school culture, which is, are students coming to school every day? Are they engaged? Do they feel welcome, that they have a high attendance rate, low truancy rate? They also look at student behavior data. How high is their percentage for suspensions and expulsions, for example? So it really does look at the whole school climate and how parents and students are in partnership with the staff there at the school to ensure every student is successful. So really wanted to just kind of share that, because there's a lot of data that's looked at, and so really our hats go off to the Morrill community for that recognition. In addition, I think last month, many of you are very familiar with the Tech Interactive. They do an annual tech challenge that's open to students to compete in various levels of robotics and, STEAM creativity type exercises. And we had 3 teams win recognition in that challenge. So 2 from Northwood Elementary and 1 from Morill. So really proud of the staff and, the parents that work with the students to give them those extracurricular opportunities to show their talents. Many of you have been very familiar with our talented students in terms of music, right? Their music and their choir singing capacity, but also, in their STEAM and technology work too, we have lots of talent across our district. On that note, I do want to share with everyone how our district is going to be utilizing our Proposition 28 funds. So that's something that all the voters came forward on and voted to provide, revenue to schools to be able to support arts and music programs across the district. Unfortunately, over the years, many districts have had to reduce those programs, for their students. Here in Berryessa, we've been able to sustain our music program through all of those challenges. So a challenge for us in terms of receiving this money, you're not able to, you have to supplement, you can't supplant. So what that terminology means is that anything that we already had supported, we cannot utilize these funds towards that. It has to be above and beyond that. So it felt a little kind of like we're being punished even after we've sustained this through families, donations, and all of those kinds of things. But that's okay. We made it work. And so what we're going to be doing is, as you know, our music program has always supported students 3rd grade through 8th grade. So we've been able to hire an additional elementary music teacher. So we're going to bring music education down to 2nd grade. And then in addition to that, we've hired 3 elementary art teachers for next school year to provide more guided art instruction for our kindergarten through kinder through 1st grade students. So they'll have that. One area where we had seen the impact of loss of funding has been in our middle schools with art teachers. So we only had currently 1 art teacher over at Morill Middle School. So now we've been able to hire 2 more. And so now we'll be back to full operation with all 3 middle schools having their own art teacher again. So just wanted to share that and thank everyone who voted on behalf of that measure so that you could know this is how we're utilizing those dollars. To meet those requirements, districts do have to present a plan that gets approved by their board. So we'll be presenting that to our board next week. And we're also required to have that plan on our website. So any of our interested community members want to know, hey, I'm paying this, towards this proposition. How's my local school district using those funds? You should be able to go to their district website and find that plan. And the California Department of Ed is also creating a web page, so anyone who's interested in wanting to see how those funds are being used in their local schools, they can find the information there. So very grateful, very excited to be able to offer, these increased opportunities for our students, because we've definitely have seen the advantage of offering students music education since 3rd grade. To be able to get to the advanced levels of music and singing instruction by 8th grade, I mean, they're phenomenal. They're phenomenal having been able to have those experiences. So happy to be able to do that. The final thing that I just want to share with everyone as a result, we've talked before about the declining enrollment that we have been experiencing here in Berryessa, as well as, the financial challenges that brings upon a school district when those are your circumstances. So as a result, we have convened a school consolidation advisory committee. We had an application process in the late winter, and the committee convened for its first session in April. And they're just started out, so no decisions have been made, so I want to be clear on that. They are evaluating all of the data, what the enrollment trends have been for every school site across our community. They're looking at, facilities, maintenance needs, all of those things. And they've had 2 meetings thus far. They will have 2 more this month in June, and then they will sunset the process until we reconvene at the start of the school year. And that process will continue through the fall. So it takes quite a bit of time for the advisory committee to review all the data and to put together a report of recommendation to the board of how we should proceed moving forward. We're hoping to have that report from the committee by late October, early November. That is our hope, to get a better understanding of what we might need to do. We have left the process very open for the committee to be able to not just look at school closure, which is often what the main focus is in these meetings, but also to reimagine our schooling in our community and look at this as an opportunity to hear from families on what they would like to see in terms of learning environments for their students. And what I mean by that is there's lots of different school configurations out there. There's K-8 models, there's primary only school models. Currently, our middle schools support students 6th through 8th grade. There is a 7th, 8th grade only model. So this committee will be looking at all of those configurations as part of their process in determining, what will be best for our students. In addition to that, like I said, we will have hard decisions to make. The decline in student enrollment has significantly impacted our budget. In terms of giving you a sense, for those of you who've been involved or have had children go through our schools, our smallest school site currently has 230 students approximately. So it's a significant drop when you know that most of our elementary schools can accommodate up to well into 500 plus students. To give you another idea in terms of our middle schools, our middle school facilities are created to provide up to 1,000 seats, if not a little bit more. And our highest enrolled middle school is at about 740 students. Our lowest enrolled middle school is below 600. So, because of that, we are seeing already an impact in terms of student programming. And so what that looks like is when you have staffing stretched out so much over the number of schools that we have, it actually limits the resource opportunities that a school site can offer to students. And at an elementary school site, what that tends to look like is increased combination classrooms. Because there aren't enough students in a certain grade level to be able to put the children in nice packaged, first grade, kindergarten classroom settings. And, we know in our school community that combination classrooms do have to happen, but when a student is experiencing a combination classroom 2-3 years in a row, that's not what's best for them. And at the middle school level, the impact that we've seen there by the decline in students is not being able to offer more elective offerings. We would love to be able to offer, computer science electives and be able to have drama, be able to have world languages being offered in our middle schools. But with the number of students that we have, we don't have the ability to hire the additional staffing to be able to do that. But when you consolidate schools and create a school setting where now you're back at 800 to 1,000 students, then that creates that opportunity to be able to provide those offerings. So those are things that we'll be looking at. Very often the second question is, well, when you decide to potentially change a school setting, what happens to that school? That is a second committee phase process. So we're in phase one, phase one of evaluating everything and trying to determine what's going to be the best path. Once the committee provides their report of recommendations to the board has to take action, either yay or nay, or make adjustments to that report. If there is school facilities that will be ultimately closed, then there is a second phase process and a new committee needs to be developed to be able to discuss then what will happen with those facilities and those sites. And so potentially that will be where we'll be next spring going through that process. So just wanted to bring everyone up to speed. Just know we do have a dedicated web page site to this process. If you go onto our district website, just type in school consolidation. We've created a full website. Every meeting that the committee is participating in, the agendas, the minutes, all the presentations, the scoring rubrics, all that data is there for anyone who has interest to see it. The meetings are public meetings, so the schedule of the meetings are there. The public is welcome to attend and listen to the conversations that are occurring. And we'll be doing more community outreach when we come back from the summer, just locally, within our sites for any, additional questions that folks may have about the process and where we're headed. Okay. So thank you. I want to wish everyone a wonderful summer. Thank you.
Back in my day, when I was teaching at Piedmont Middle for electives, this is what happens. We used to have the arts, plus the music, plus sewing, cooking, computer science. We had all of these electives. And like she says, once it starts shrinking down, you can't provide those anymore. So it's really heartbreaking to see what the kids have really missed out. Even my own kids, I said, you don't know how to cook this? You don't know how to hem your skirt? What, oh no, I guess I was supposed to do that because they don't do that in school anymore. Anyway, we have a guest speaker tonight, and I'm excited to hear about the programs. There's all kinds of different programs at the Berryessa Library. I guess they're probably throughout the state and the city and the county. But Candace Tran is here tonight to educate us.
Share with you. Yes, I will share some information with you. Good evening, everyone. Since this is such a small group, I'm just going to use my story time. No, I can't. I have to use a mic? Okay, I will use a microphone. Well, my name is Candace Tran. I am the senior librarian at Berryessa Library and also El Viso Library. And thanks again for the opportunity to share information about Berryessa with you this evening. I'm going to first share two fun facts about the Berryessa branch. We're very well known for our inflatables. Now, for those of you who are Berryessa Library user, if you come around the holidays, we're fully decked out with inflatables. That's where we got our name. And so the second one is we're also well known for bunnies. Now, you were wondering why bunnies in the library setting. We're the first and the only so far library location that hosts the San Jose Animal Care Unit's bunnies, and the families within Berryessa community just absolutely loved it, absolutely. Now the real facts, I'm gonna give you some facts about Berryessa. The branch hours, we open 7 days a week nowadays, and we open the total of 48 service hours. Everyone knows we're within the council District 4, and the whole team consists of 21 staff members, which is a lot of our staffs are part-timer, and so we're pretty much around 11.8 FTE. This is just a snapshots of our community. The photos, these are very recent event that happens at the Berryessa Library. Every summer, we have a summer learning program that encourages people of all ages to read during the summer months, particularly kids. And so we have our kickoff event last Saturday. We have all sorts of stuff going on when we have our kickoff event. We have the Maker spaceship that came out. We have, well, what else don't we have? We actually make smoothies for all of our kids to come and enjoy. There's chalk arts, they make terrariums when they're there too. And we had a huge turnout. 430 people showed up to the event. And then Berryessa is very, very well known for its cultural enrichment programs also. And we celebrate Lunar New Year, we celebrate all sorts of holidays. And the last celebration we had, we collaborated with Council Member Cohen's office, and we brought in around 700-something people to the library. And who do we serve? This is a quick demographic of Berryessa Library that we serve. And the population that we serve, most of our customer consists of adults, roughly 80%, of 20 plus adults within our community. And then the 20% is children's up to 19 years old. And the language that was spoken at home, English only, roughly 30, almost 33% there. And then the 4 major languages is Chinese, Vietnamese, Tagalog, Spanish. This is from Census 2020. And how busy are we? We're pretty busy. If you look at the gate count for us, we're looking at the data from May 2023 to May 2024 instead of the fiscal year, because the fiscal year hasn't ended for us yet, June 30th. So we roughly had 193,000 people visited Berryessa Library during that time. And we circulated roughly 488 something items. Programming-wise, we have 423 programs, and we brought in roughly 14,400 something folks that came to our program. And what kind of program and services do we have? Beyond the free computers, beyond the free Wi-Fi, we have hotspots for people to check out. No, those are hot commodities. You can't keep them on the shelf at all. We have story time, baby lap sits, music and movement. We have STEMs and coding programs. In addition, arts and crafts. But in arts and crafts, the holidays programs are pretty popular for families, but we also have crafts programs for adults too. There's crochet, there's flower arrangement classes too. Cultural enrichment, like I said before, a popular program with us. Letters to the North Pole, Lunar New Year, Halloween extravaganza, and then the regular program. Taiji usually bring in, I want to say, 40 to 50 adults each time, and their weekly program. And the line dancing is roughly 60, a lot of people moving around Wednesday. And then we also have meditation workshops too. And who do we outreach to? We outreach to our Berryessa Union School District schools. And we provide class visit, we have back to school events. And then for the older kids, we also reach out to Piedmont Hills High. Now, Dr. Fuente, this is Noble Elementary School kids came to visit us, and we have them tried out our new telescope looking at sunspots on that day. Now, we also provide volunteer opportunity for teens. So that's what the Teens Reach group is. The opportunity for teens as young as 13 to 18 to come and volunteer for us, and they get school community credit for that. And they're a huge help for our Berryessa Library friends. Berryessa friends do book sales for the library to raise funds for this specific library location, and the Teens Reach is a huge help every time we have those big book sales event. Teens also help us with our seed library. Now, Berryessa Library Friends provided us with funding to purchase seeds. Our Teens Reacher comes in and package those seeds and make them available for the general public to pick up and grow their own garden. And we're one of the few library locations that has a seed library. Our goals and opportunities. We want always to strengthen the collaboration with schools and community partner. We want to increase our partner volunteer presented programs through inclusive programming, STEMs, and after-school program for our children. And we absolutely want to provide more programs and services for the underserved. Again, the class visit from Noble Elementary, and then our coding workshop with our teen volunteer. You know, I want to mention a couple programs that our librarians working on for the underserved. They're planning on programs offering digital literacy for older adults. They're also planning on working, providing program planning for insiders. Insiders are adults with developmental challenges. And so we're excited for the years to come, and that's what we will be bringing to this particular community. And who are these folks that are our strongest and biggest supporter? They are the Friends of the Berryessa Library. A couple of them are here tonight, and that's Miss Barbara right there, and Prasanna is one of your own. They, like I said, without them, we wouldn't be able to do any additional programs to this community, and our Teens Reacher are also the biggest help. And last but not least is our staff. They're here 7 days a week. They're ready to help. Okay, before I finish my presentation, I'd like to share with you two uplifting feedback that I received from the community recently. One from Ms. Francesco Coronado. She wrote, "Finally, I really need to express appreciation for all the programs, services, tutoring, etc. offered at the library. The libraries do much more than simply loan materials. Rather, they help lift and improve the quality of life for the communities and families. Thank you very much." And another one from one of our library tech at Toyon Elementary. "We really appreciate all that SJPL has done. You wanted to build a partnership with our schools. I have to say it has been a great beginning for this partnership with our field trips and activities done at SJPL. I know my teachers and I are looking forward to visiting again next year, and the students really enjoyed their visit." And with that, thank you so much for inviting me once again to share information about Berryessa Library.
Was educated tonight, so that was really wonderful. I hadn't been in the library for a little while until I went up to visit with Candace, and it was just fun looking around to see. It's just so welcoming, and there's so many little different nooks and crannies in the library, and everything's decorated, or, you know, artworks displayed. So that was it for our guests. Next general membership meeting is going to be September 9th. And we do have a BCAC board meeting next week at our usual place at the BUSD district office. But in August, we have planned, well, we're in the middle of planning, I should say, an event a family event. We've done it for a couple of years now. It'll be August 17th. It'll be a Saturday, and it'll be here at the community center, and it's open to all of the community. We'll have the gates open. We have games planned and little giveaways and stuff for the kids to play with, and popcorn and ice cream truck, and so we'll be giving you a lot more information as we go along, as soon as we get it all figured out. But we're looking forward to that day. It's been fun the last couple of times that we've done it. So I do not have anything else for the evening. So feel free to drink the coffee. Tim had to make the coffee tonight, so. So, yes, sir.
I want to let everybody know that Assemblymember Lee is hosting a senior scam stopper seminar on,
Oh.
I won't see you in July, right? So on
Right.
August 2nd, August 2nd, it's a Friday, 1 to 3, right here at the BCAC Union High School District Boardroom. And Councilmember Peter Ortiz and Trustee Lorena Chavez are co-hosting with us. But we got about 150 people at the community center last year, so we expect to have a big crowd in August. Come join us.
Thank you, sir. I'm writing it down because our secretary is not here tonight, so I suddenly became the secretary too, by Lee. Yes. Okay. Anything else for the good of the cause? There's a few cookies left, there's coffee, and there's water, so help yourselves. Chit-chat for a little while, and then we have to put the chairs away, and, I took that clock down finally, that's good. But we'll be done early tonight. Thank you very much for coming. I really appreciate your being here tonight.